Half-time in the Champions League game tonight, City versus PSG. It's currently 1-0 to PSG, but Blues, don't panic. It's okay. We are playing brilliant. Going to have a chat now with my guests, Paul Dickov and Nedum and Dickov, who are still with us, to have a little bit of a tactical analysis of that first half. Paul, what is your initial opinion overall of the first half?
Super positive, as always. I think the performance was as good, if not better, than the Chelsea game. Obviously disappointing to go 1-0 down. They are a threat going forward. We know that, but we've limited them to 2 chances. But going forward, the PSG are all over the place. They don't know how to contain us. As good as their front 3 are going forward, they don't want to track back, and it's leaving us with lots of spaces. And we should not just be level, we should be ahead in the game, dominated the game. Creating loads and loads of chances, and as I said, I think that first half performance is better than what it was against Chelsea on Saturday.
We're unlucky to go in 1-0 down, do you think, Nedum?
Yeah, but that's football, isn't it? I think it was a great finish by Gueye, and it was unlucky as well because Mahrez just managed to get his toe on something as he was trying to get back in. But that's the sort of luck that you need, and then when it drops to players of that calibre in that area, you almost expect them to score. So I think the goal's disappointing, but for City, they are throwing bodies into the box, but then they're also not leaving themselves open. I think when you look at some of the times where it seems like PSG are getting a bit of a head of steam, players are doing quite well to stop that and slow down PSG, but the danger is, they have players who can do anything just at the drop of a hat, so you've got to be careful. But overall, again, I think City have made PSG look just like an okay side. I know they have the lead, but I suppose that's a huge positive, especially away from home.
So Paris Saint-Germain took the lead in the 8th minute. Idrissa Gueye, fantastic finish from him. Paul, what did you make of the goal? It was their first chance, their first shot.
It was the first time they'd been in the box, I think, because we'd dominated possession up until that point. And just a little bit unfortunate, when Mbappe cuts the ball back, it sort of takes a couple of little deflections, which I think foxes Riyad a little bit, because it looks as if the ball's coming to him from to clear, and that little nick that it's took, he's just tried to put his foot out, and it's unfortunate for them. But what a finish! You could put 3 Edersons in goal, and he's not stopping that. But the reaction from the goal was fantastic. In hostile atmosphere, fans back in away from home, European tie, but they soon silenced them because the way we've kept the ball has been fantastic. I think we've got to keep getting Riyad Mahrez and Jack Grealish in the ball. Because Mendes and Hakimi are all over the place because they've got no protection in front of them. Mbappe, Neymar or Messi, they're not protecting them. They're leaving 1-on-1, sometimes 2-on-1 with Kyle Walker and Riyad one side and Cancelo and Jack Grealish on the other side, and it's causing them all sorts of problems. You just need that little bit of luck that they got.
And we had no luck. I'll say Bernardo Silva had no luck. Our best chance of the half, an incredible Kevin De Bruyne cross to Sterling, and
goes without
talk
saying,
us through that, Nedum.
So did Raheem did the keeper save it, or did it hit the crossbar first off?
He hit the crossbar?
Hit the bar, and then Bernardo's, he's put himself in there and he's tried to react to it, but I think he'd be very disappointed he hasn't scored that. That might sound distinctly obvious, but a player of his calibre, and to be honest, a player playing in the Champions League, you'd expect him to score that. But these things happen within football, and I'm sure he's going to be motivated to make amends for it. But for me, the positive is City throwing players into the box. And Bernardo Silva, that's his job, to be in there. It's kind of like a Gundogan has been doing for the last year or so. And that's positive because, again, it didn't quite work out, but then you didn't see City getting hit on the break. So, yeah, I think he's going to be very disappointed, but I don't think he's going to be one of those which you're going to watch back and you're going to try and move on from as quickly as possible.
What about the ball by Kevin De Bruyne?
Yeah, silly, isn't it?
Outside of the foot. Talk about, I said before, I would dislocate my hand, but I've dislocated my knee if I tried to do that as well. Just sheer quality. And Raheem's probably get too good a contact in his header. Sometimes it's glancing off a little bit. It goes either side of the goalkeeper, and can I defend Bernardo on it? I just think he's not. You
can't really, but it's not an attack. It's just like I think he'd say himself. Like if anybody was to ask him about that chance, he's not going to say it was a difficult chance.
He's followed in, and his momentum's brought him in, and the balls came back at him quick, and he's just tried to get any part of his body on it. And look, you should score. It's an open goal. But just positive signs again. And talking about going forward, I think Rodri's been outstanding again. Anytime PSG have looked to break, he's in there just tidying everything up and starting off for attacks again. But going into the second half, I'm super confident, especially if we perform like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a little word on Kevin De Bruyne. There was a challenge in the first half there that he got booked for, Nedum. Alistair Mann was very much on the side that it was a fair challenge, that it wasn't, because we were listening to the commentary from Alistair Mann on the City app, which I hope you all were as well. What did you make of the challenge?
So I think it started with a bad touch from Kevin, which, like, that doesn't really happen. But then, before you know it, it's like almost like a 50-50 situation. He has gotten his toe to the ball. But the way that football is looked at now, it's not just about getting your toe to the ball, it's about what happens after that. And in some ways, I wouldn't have been surprised if he was sent off. But then on the other side of that coin is that after he made contact with Gueye, you could see that his leg was retracting and he was bending it, so he wasn't following through as such. I think if he was going with a straight leg and followed through with it, then that's more of a danger to Gueye, because in the end, it looks to me like the initial impact is where the severity was, as opposed to a following through with it, which is what we see sometimes for people who really go and lunge in. But as far as I see it for KDB, like, please take a better first touch. We don't need to see those type of things and trust in somebody to make the right decision.
I think the fact he's pulled out has helped him massively. Yeah. He's got a little toe to the ball, but his momentum just took him over. But as he's going to connect with him, you can see him trying to pull away from it. Whereas if his momentum carries him forward, I think he could have been in big trouble.
Who do you think has been the standout City player of the half, Nedum?
I think Rodri's has been good again, but then I also think the back four has been good overall as well. Considering how good the sort of front line of PSG are, they stifled a lot of danger, showing great character in terms of trying to play the ball around and just organise behind. Because it's very easy, especially when you're behind, to just throw bodies forward, but they're still coming from the structure. But if we talk about individuals, I think Rodri's been great.
Let's have a look at some of the match stats now from the first half. So you can see that City have had the most of the possession, 3 attempts on target, 8 total attempts as well. So 3 attempts on target to PSG's 2, 8 total attempts to PSG's 4. Only one save, more corners. So City are definitely the more dominant team in that first half. Pass completion 90, foul committed, 2 yellow cards. We'll just maybe gloss over those bits, but and here are the top 5 passing. Look at these stats we've got for you here. No surprise there that Rodri's at the top, especially after Nedum just picked him out as the most important player of the first half. You know your stuff sometimes, eh?
A blind squirrel, you know what I mean? That whatever that saying is. But to be fair to him, like those passes, some people saying he just goes sideways and whatever. But I guarantee you, having played in a team who would be begging for somebody to get the ball and move the ball, I get it. I totally understand it. It keeps the opposition thinking all the time, because they are consistently, firstly coming to the ball to receive it, but then also moving it. So it brings more people involved. And I think it's been fantastic.
Do you think we'll see any changes in the second half? Because obviously, as always, Paul, we have an extremely strong bench there.
I don't think. I think, well, if we start the second half the way we started the first half and finish the first half, I think Pep will be more than happy. Obviously disappointed to go 1-0 down, but he's always said he puts performances above results sometimes, doesn't he?
Sure, yeah.
And that performance there was fantastic, and just more of the same, I think. If the game gets still 1-0 later on, we've got Foden, we've got Ferran Torres, Gabriel Jesus, all fantastic players to come on and make a difference. But I think he'll be more than happy at the minute how the first half went.
There you go. That's the thoughts of our guests on the first half there of the Champions League game. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for, a chance to catch up on Cryptic City. So, by now, you have to have a look at these pictures and put them together to get a City player, either current or former. It's dead easy. I got it straight, absolutely straight. I didn't need any help from these two in the studio whatsoever. We're getting absolutely loads of right answers coming through as well. So thank you very much for taking part. Tweet us your guess, #ManCity. Where you guys are confident, you know it, yeah?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
100%.
Easy that.
Paul got it first. So get your answers in now. And
we all got it in the end.
It's teamwork in the studio, teamwork. At full time, we will reveal the answer to you. Thank you also for all of the WhatsApp questions that you have been sending in. Absolutely loads. Keep them coming in. We'll do some more at full time as well. But genuinely, this is one of the most answers we've had. So well done, everybody. Right, I'm going to go a question for you, Paul, from Mike. If Paul could choose between scoring against Gillingham again or City winning the Champions League, which would he choose? Ooh.
Scoring a goal? Got to be City winning the Champions League. Got to be, because I've done that already.
Don't look back, look forward.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. No, City winning the Champions League, absolutely.
Love it. Yes, that's a proper fan. Anything for City to win the Champions League. Nedum, Nick says, big question for Nedum. Over 10 years ago, I was a fan who took part in the Manchester City Ran pantomime. Nedum came along as a player guest. Is he ever going to make a real appearance in a pantomime?
Never say never. Never say never. We're getting towards that season as well, so you know where to find me.
Who would you play?
Honestly,
a villain or a hero?
It's all part of the fun, so it wouldn't make any difference either or.
By the way, Graham our producer Graham's just said Buttons. Who would play Buttons? Who's like the butler?
Yeah, Graham can say that, but he can say that from a distance. That's the key thing.
Paul, Glenn has asked, do you agree Bernardo Silva is like Neil McNabb?
Yeah. I think Neil was a fantastic player. A little bit before my time, though. Just a little bit. But yeah, Neil was a great player, wasn't he? But Bernardo, for me, if you had to match the two up, different eras, so very difficult to do it. But Bernardo would just share it for me.
And the last one just now for you, Nedum. I've kind of asked Paul it already, but let's kind of get your opinion on it. Tomo said, hey, it's Thomas from Canada. Hey, Thomas from Canada, welcome. Who would you bring on to make the difference in and around the box?
Who would I bring on? I don't know, because everybody on the field can make a difference in and around the box, but, Torres had a good start to the season. Jesus just scored on the weekend. Like, Phil Foden's Phil Foden. I think McAtee's a good player as well, to be fair. So, I don't know. I think we're blessed, but the starting 11 as it is, I think I could see any single one of them scoring. So let's just keep it rolling, because for now the momentum's there.
There you go. Thank you for your questions. You can send some more in via WhatsApp and we'll do them at full time. Right, here are some latest scores for you. Half time in and around the Champions League games that are taking place tonight. You can see there that it is Borussia Dortmund 1, Sporting 0. Liverpool are beating Porto 2-0 away from home. Milan are beating Atletico Madrid. You can see the PSG Man City score. That's going to change by full time. Now, the interesting one for the other game that's taking place in our group tonight, Leipzig currently getting beaten by Club Brugge 2-1. That is at Leipzig as well. So, do you know what that means? Club Brugge are currently top of our group. I am loving that. And then, check this one out. Real Madrid 0. How do you pronounce that? Sheriff Tiraspol are winning. Sheriff are beating Real Madrid.
So I just got a message from Sean Gota, and he's asked me to ask Paul Dickov, have you got Big Ben on your wrist? That's what he said.
I could wear it as a belt, tell him. Something he couldn't.
Brilliant. Brutal. I love it. Sean Gota, we love you. Thank you for watching. See, get all the stars watching this. Right, we've just seen the players lining up in the tunnel there. We could just keep on chatting, but they're not going to wait for us. So thank you for joining us on Matchday Live at halftime. We will be back at full time. We'll be telling you the cryptic City answer, and we'll be dissecting which will hopefully be at least 2 goals for City and a City win. Get your commentary for the second half on the Manchester City app with the wonderful Alistair Mann. We'll see you at full time.